Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome and thank you so much on this Thursday evening. And welcome to you wherever you are. Those joining me on YouTube, Instagram, and Instagram, of course, you can come over onto the YouTube platform as well, and Facebook as well. I want to thank you so much for joining. And this is a beautiful. I consider every day beautiful. That's why I always say beautiful. Even if I'm walking in the park, I'll always say it's a beautiful day. No matter what, if it is raining, if it is rain or shine, breeze or blow, chicken batio to do, it is beautiful. And it's been an interesting week, a very a week of reports, I would say, a week of reports. And the various week of reports dealing with the Boris Johnson privilege committee, speaking about that. We're talking about as well the case reports, which talks about the police and the damning situation with the police as well. And most importantly, I would say the interest rates, which rose again, which is very interesting. 4.25. And 2.25, 4.25. Now, for those on variable interest, of course, that will keep going up. Sure that I get a letter from my bank or so regarding the mortgage. Of course, I'm drinking my Jamaica coffee. You know, I must say that this week I saw something very interesting in regards to Jamaica. And what was very interesting was Parliament, and nothing different from Parliament in the UK, I would say. But it is the interesting bit about how colorful Parliament can be. The House of Commons has it, and Jamaica has it as well. And if I play just one bit of it, and I think I'm going to have to touch on it on Saturday night. In the Talk and Sip show. Definitely will be touching on this. Let me see if I can actually play this. Where it is. Yeah, here it is.
It seems to hurt them, Madam Speaker. It hurt them. And it hurt Master Mark too. It hurt him.
On a point of order, Madam Speaker. No, on a point of order, Madam Speaker. On a point of order, Madam Speaker. On a point of order, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I believe that the Minister of finance in terms of shut your mouth and let me talk.
Interesting. Shut your mouth and let me speak. Shut your mouth and let me talk. That is the exciting bit about Jamaican politics. And I tell you what, I've been doing a little review, and some people have been sending me some review and say that is nothing in comparison to different parts of the world, and even comparison with the UK as well. That is nothing in comparison to some key places around the world. You know, well, one of the most important thing what came to me very strongly in regards to that is the very importance of public life. The most important thing of who is watching, the most important thing regarding the double standard, the whole aspect of fairness, and the whole aspect of bullying at the same time, and discrimination, or what do we say, racism. Some would say you cannot be racist if you're black. That's a big debate because they say you don't have the structure, the financial structure. That is something which can be debated about to a certain extent, you know. But it is something that I will, chances are, look at it this Saturday evening at Talk and Sip. And thank you, Mari, for coming on as well. Yeah. Now, so many different things which has happened in the UK this week, and I think one of the first thing that I look at is the Casey report, right? And the Casey report speaks so very highly of the way how there's so much things, the police, how the police operate. And if I can actually find it, the Casey report, I'm seeing so much about Bank of England. Talk about Bank of England so much. But anyway, let me see. Da, 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 da. There we go. There we go. There we go. There's so much things about the Bank of England. So much things about interest rate as well. The Casey report. This was something whereby Barnes Casey was asked to review the police as well. And what they're saying is that the Met now has nowhere to hide. The account after report that highlights, what should I say, institutional misogyny, racism, and homophobia. The Macpherson report some time ago actually spoke about this. And it's like maybe it has gotten a bit deeper, or maybe things are coming to the forefront whereby even a lady who was actually assaulted by the police said she fears so much of seeing the police. She fears so much of seeing a uniform officer. And one of the recommendation as well is to get everybody out of the police, or to check them, or to vet them all over again. Women's rights campaigners have warned the damning case report into the culture of the Met has left the force with nowhere to hide. You know, Dame Louis Casey's report, 300-page report, and you can find it very easily. I got the link there, and I put the link as just found institutional misogyny, racism, and homophobia persist within Britain's biggest police force. And the report, which was commissioned by the Met in the wake of the kidnap, rape, and murder of Sarah Everard by the serving police officer Wayne Couzens, right? That is very damning as well. You know. Good evening, Garry. Let me know when you're ready. Let me know when you're ready. Ready? Thumbs up saying you're ready. Yes. Is thumbs up saying you're ready? All right. If you're ready, you're ready. If you're ready, you're ready, like Freddie. If you're ready, you're ready, like Freddie. How you doing, buddy?
Not bad at all, my friend. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. I had a very busy day, you know. But at the same time, try to keep abreast of what is happening around us, because if you're not careful, with all these things around us, you have to ask yourself this one question: what else is happening?
Yeah,
You know?
that's true. You know, that's true.
Mm,
There was so much. There is so much going on in our world, in our society, wherever we are. I mean, I don't want to take too much away, but in Leeds, Huddersfield, and in Leeds, there was two stabbings there. You know, so there's a lot that's happening. The thing about it, my friend, is that there's a lot that is happening in our country, things that we are not hearing when it does happen. Do you understand? You there?
yeah.
Yeah.
I was on mute a bit for a second. Yeah, there's so much things which are happening out there.
So much, so much. And
Mm,
if you're not careful, it can depress you. It can cause you
mm,
really to reassess what where you are.
mm,
It can cause you to
mm.
reassess really. It's just sad, 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 sad.
Well, one of the things which talking about in this week as well, and there are two key reports. One which is the Casey report, Dame Casey Barnes Casey report about the Met. That is something that came out there regarding the Met. And there's also the privilege committee regarding Boris Johnson, because Boris Johnson was fighting, they say, for his political life. I was saying what life, because I thought he had lived his life already in politics, but we'll hear some more about what is Boris Johnson's life. And then also interest rate. Interest rate has gone up again, 0.25%. And that's going to
Yeah,
hit people. But the Bank of England governor is saying actually it is things are looking better. That's what he said the last time as well, until it reaches 5%. Next thing it might reach 20% very soon, if anything, based on how it's going on, Gary. And then in Jamaica, you got the I don't know if you've been following Jamaica, because I always keep an eye on Jamaica. When one of the parliamentarians said to another parliamentarian, "Shut your mouth," and the speaker said, "Withdraw that," you know. And it was like a bangarang there, but it was exciting. And somebody reminded me and said, that is nothing in comparison to other parts of the world, you know,
true.
you know, and the whole aspect of racism and discrimination being to the fact that one of the comment which was made was by the serving minister of finance, who actually made reference to the opposition leader Mark Golding by calling him Massa Mark. And the massa factor was the key factor because Mark Golding is a white person. And Jamaica's motto is out of many one people. But I think we're going to touch on that Saturday night on Talk and Sip, Yeah.
Yeah.
The I was looking at I was looking at the report from the Barnes, Casey, you know, Dame Louis Casey 300-page report, which talks about institutional misogyny, institutional racism, because the institutional misogyny, institutional racism, and institutional homophobia persists within Britain's biggest police force. And a report which was commissioned by the Met in the wake of a kidnap. I remember on the rape of the murder of Sarah Hefford by the serving police officer Wayne Cousins. Let me get back Gary in. Yeah, you okay? You okay there? Yeah. You
Yeah,
need,
yeah,
you need,
yeah. Can you hear
you need a
me?
coffee? You need a coffee? Yeah. You want a coffee? Yeah, you're here. You're good. You need a
Yeah, I'm
coffee?
all right.
You don't need a coffee.
No, no, man, I'm all right. I'm all right. I'm okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead. What you were saying about the report?
Yeah. I was talking about the report there of Barnes Casey. That report which was commissioned by the Met in the light of the kidnap and murder of Sarah Everard. And Andrea Simon, director of the End Violence Against Women Coalition, said this damning report leaves the Met nowhere to hide when it comes to the depths of its problems with institutional misogyny, racism, and homophobia. Those are key words which I've been using for a while. It's like we well, racism has always existed, but the word misogyny and homophobia, those are key words which have been bantered around for a while now, and it's becoming very pronounced, and talking about the long history of such revelations about the Met, including an undercover policing stretch back to the 1980s and beyond to the findings even of the Macpherson report and numerous police inspectorate reports since. We demand that today's report finally initiates a tangible shift in the operation of policing in the UK. You know, I don't know if you had any thoughts about it, or if you know you looked at it or heard anything. And what's your thought about the police at the same time? Have you got confidence in the police?
I mean, I'd like to say that I'd really like to say that in the police force, yes, we do have some very good and conscientious police officers. I think we've got to in every agency, governmental or non-governmental, we always you always have a few um,
But
individuals
I,
that
mm,
that are good and they really want to see their agency do well. But there is an element. There will always be a rogue element within these agencies
mm,
that gives more or less a bad name and a bad face.
mm,
And as we see, I mean, over the past 18 months, I think you would have a better. I think you could have another view still, but in the past 18 months, the Metropolitan Police has not had a very good time, really.
mm,
I think they've had a very rough time, and with the police commissioner, I think the last two, if not the last one, they've had a rough time.
mm,
They've had a rough time, and with all the reassurances that the Metropolitan Police has assured the country to say they're dealing with this, they're dealing with that, they're
yeah,
dealing with police officers that, and yet, after each one comes out and they seem to have dealt with according to them, then another thing happens. They haven't dealt with it. I don't think they really want to deal with it.
do you think is Johnny Barnes always talk about this? Because if we find more aspect of racism and misogyny and whatever in football, it always points back to society, isn't it? These persons are all coming out of society. And I think one of the key thing is, how do we vet those who are coming into the police force? How do we vet those who are footballers into the, or not footballers, but the fans, if anything? It's about society, isn't it, at the same time? These
Yes,
people
it
are coming out
is.
of society.
It is. And my brother, listen, the how society thinks. Let's
Mm,
look at it in the in let's call a spade a spade.
yes.
Society doesn't think much of black people. That is
Mm,
why you have elements of what we're seeing in the Metropolitan Police, in football or in sports,
mm,
and in other areas of society, because that is what society thinks of black people. The same thing with women. Society, with all the talk that they want to talk, with all the laws that they
mm,
want to pass, it's difficult for a black man back, or for a man, not black man. It's difficult for a man
mm,
back in the day for a young lady to get a whistle. They felt good about it. I don't
yes.
know why that changed. Then all of a sudden, you know, a harmless thing such as a whistle, you can be put on this on the well, on a sex offenders list because
Yes.
a woman feels threatened by your whistle. can't look at a woman too hard because they feel as if
Yeah.
they're being undressed. So, so society is ingrained. It's not
Mm,
gone. It's not going away. It's
mm,
hidden, but
mm.
it's not going away. These things will always be in society. They can't legislate that out. So, how many laws are they going to have to pass so that women feel safe or black people feel safe? Look what's happened with sad with these two elderly Asian men who was accosted. One almost burnt to death. I mean, he
Uh,
had severe burns. He had severe burns. But no
mm.
man, no individual should have to leave, whether they're home, their place of worship, or wherever,
Yeah.
and feel unsafe.
That's very interesting. And when you mention about society, and it is emanating from far back, because I was thinking about the Emmett Till, and I saw a clip the other day whereby he whistled at this lady, and she was offended by it,
Well, they
and
said he did. But,
or they
but the
said he
thing
did
about
not.
it, they said
Mm,
he did. They
yes.
said he did. You see,
Mm,
it's funny because especially in the United States, and I think we've got to um, take note because a lot of there has been a lot of overturning
mm,
of of sentences based on what it is alleged
alleged.
that
Yes.
that that the person did. I don't know if it was recent, I can't say, but I read something, I saw something on Facebook about an individual, a gentleman. He spent 38 years in prison. Now, he's not the only one,
Yes.
but he spent 38 years in prison because it was alleged that he did something.
Allege.
Listen. I mean, this is serious, sir. It's serious
Mm,
because in this country, I could, I'm at home. I could be anywhere. I could be at church. I could be in my car. I could be going down, driving to put petrol in the car. You know, um, the police could get a report about a Mr. Graham
mm,
driving around in a particular car, um, and he's exposing himself, or he has just committed murder, or he has raped someone. He could be reported to the police. The police is not going to investigate initially. They're coming straight to me. They're
yeah.
coming straight to me, okay, to
Yeah.
arrest me
Mm,
because it's alleged that Gary Graham has done something and they have to be seen to be doing. And the way how they do it, it sticks.
yes. Yes. It's very interesting. And you said something very crucial, that and it's going to go back to the topic which I did the other day for my talk and sip. The more things change, the more things remain the same. So what you're actually saying to us is that, why is it still happening? And it shows that, how will it change? Will it change? Macpherson report from the Stephen Lawrence period, and you're still seeing somewhat like it is compounded. It is compounded in the sense that the police force is not just racist now, but is misogyny and all these different factors there. And now they're talking about the lady whose daughters died, and the police were taking selfie pictures, and then the police them had also what should I say, a WhatsApp group, and that WhatsApp group they could actually, feeding their internal lust or whatever like that. So what it points now is that they're coming out of society, and therefore the Met now have a responsibility, as one of the ladies were saying, to vet every single person, every single Met person, you know.
Yeah.
and that's
You
going to
see,
be a very tall order.
my friend and brother, I don't
Mm.
think I don't I don't think I'm not getting, well, it's not me getting, I'm not
Yes.
seeing the response from our community, even though it's the
Mm.
wider community, but I'm not seeing any response from my community that it is registering that we're in a very serious time and it's not going to get any better. Now, I'm not talking. Now,
Yeah.
I'm not talking from the point of view that I am a minister and I'm trying to talk biblically here and all of that. That's not my aim at this point, at this juncture. I'm saying that things are not getting any better. Back in the 60s, before we were born, late
Mm.
50s, 60s, and even in the early 60s when we were still babies in our mother's arms still. Yeah. In
Yes.
the United States, in the United Kingdom, and in Europe, let's say
Mm.
per se. Yeah. There was um, black people were being abused. Black people were being
Mm.
ridiculed. Everything was being done that you
Yes.
could probably think of. Okay,
Mm.
times have moved on, but things have become more sophisticated now. It's not the same.
Yes.
They're not putting up no Irish, no blacks, no dogs anymore, but they're putting up other little signs to show that black people are not welcome. Things are being
There's
things are being much more
go on.
sophisticated, and we've got to see for
Mm.
ourselves. We cannot walk around with our eyes wide shut. We cannot walk around in the cloud saying that everything is okay. Everything is not okay. There is still
Yes.
misogyny going around. There is still racism going on. Yeah, there is still racial abuse taking place. We don't need to. I mean, listen, it's like the stop and search where our young boys still. Now, I understand that they're still
Mm.
carrying the knives, and that is what we need to address
Mm. Mm.
because young men are still being stabbed. People are still getting hurt. People are still dying because of these
Yes.
things. But when these police and these elements stop young
Mm.
boys again for absolutely no reason, they are manhandled, they are spoken to roughly. What do you think that is? Isn't that racism in and of itself? Even though they're trying
Yeah.
to mask it by
You know,
law.
yeah. 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 Can I just play something to you? I saw this video here, and listen to this here. Listen to the irony in this. If I can play, sorry. Listen to the irony in this story. Over 400 years ago, the Western world as we know it went in search of exploration and found Africa. And they raped the country of its human resources, its gold, its minerals, its culture, its education, everything. Boats upon boats left Africa for the new world. I think they say they were civilizing us. Now, in the 21st century, we hear them now making calls that they need to stop the boats because we have to keep them out. Interesting. Is you get what is coming from the
Yeah.
irony at the same time of years ago when the boats went out to bring us in and it was not an issue, they wanted more boats. And now the boats are coming in now with us. And it's an invasion. um it's like at the same time that, as you rightly say, it will not end, not even if it is Rwanda, it will not end.
No, it's
Sometimes
not.
sometimes I think that the world, in a way, one has got to start to even recognize that the world has become even like a borderless. Maybe world has become borderless in a way, protecting one's space, protecting one's boundaries. Maybe something of the past. I don't know, Gary. Trying, you know, I don't know which party would support that, because it you know, I think as you rightly said, and as we're thinking a while ago, as we're talking, it permeates within society, and everything emanates out of society, right? The whole mannerism, the tone, as what Gary Lineker is saying, the Home Secretary and everything emanate out of society, emanate also out of, what should I say, you know, the same thing. The police emanate out of society.
It does.
Who is gonna? Yeah, yeah,
You see, I don't know.
yeah.
Still, I again,
I'm gonna
again.
say to you, I know. I'm gonna say to you, say I know. I'm gonna say to you, say I know. Don't say I know. We know now. We know now.
So,
We've got the answer. Yeah.
have we got the answer?
You're not frozen, Gary.
Have we
I
got
thought
the
you're
answer?
frozen there. No, we got the answer. We got the answer. Yes, I tell you
What's
what.
the
I
answer?
tell you what the answer is.
What's the answer?
I know everybody's listening now. Everybody's listening now. What the answer is?
Yeah, what's the answer?
I think the answer really is. I think the answer really is. How can we fix society? And how we can fix society is actually fixing ourselves. You know, I will always go back to this when I walk in the park, and like this morning, I was walking and I stopped and I even sat down while everybody's going about their business. A lady, she's walking up and down there and stuff like that. At one point, we're looking up the trees, looking at the birds, and this is before the rush comes, and everybody's just taking their time with their own space. And I believe if people start to really look out for each other as we look for those space, I believe it will be better. And at the same time, resources. When they think about resources now, resources are not limited in this world, because we all keep saying why the resources limited is because of Russia and Ukraine. So therefore, there's not a limited. There's not rush. Resources are not limited. It is just held up into Russia, or held up because of the war, because of the conflict. So therefore, who determines the outcome, the answer for all, even what is happening with Russia? I'm actually looking at it in a bigger space, Gary, in a bigger space with this whole thing, because it is looking more like the more we lock ourselves together and say we are becoming independent and we need to look out for each other, it's the more the problem lies. I wonder what it'd be like with a borderless states. Anybody ever thought about that? Borderless states. People come and they can go, and you'll be surprised when people know that they can come and go, they will go and go back to where they are, or something like that. Because right now the world has become borderless. That's just me thinking. It's just a philosophy. Maybe I might push it. The philosophy is unconservative, though.
Well, I mean, you have a point there. You do
Mm,
have a point there. I mean, if 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 people were free
mm,
to move around without any restriction at all,
mm.
people would come and go. People would come. They wouldn't stay any
Yes,
length of time. They would come. They may stay a long time, but they will go. They wouldn't
yes,
make an effort because they know they could come and go.
yes.
And
Because
and and,
yeah,
and probably that is a solution in and of itself. But you
yeah,
see, those who are in authority, those who are in power,
yes,
what to them, when they have a realm, if I can use that word, a realm, when they know they've got a realm to oversee and to control, it's all a matter of control. United
Yes.
Kingdom or Britain, they've got borders. So
Yes.
anybody crossing over a certain part of the English Channel or reaching the coast of Brighton or Southampton
Mm.
or wherever, um, they're within the realm of Great Britain.
Yes.
So that is what they're trying to control.
And can you control it? Can it be controlled?
They're exercising their authority to do so.
Mm.
They are exercising their authority to
Yeah.
do so. So um, I think that in and of itself creates a problem.
Yes. Yes. Well, you know what? That's interesting, and I see how it sort of unfold in the future as well. Gary. Now let's look at Boris Johnson. Now Boris Johnson is the talk of the town. You're a good mate. Um, with the the report from
Well,
the privilege committee that just came out of recent days.
Well, I was a bit concerned about when, I mean, if you remember, I called you, because I was a bit concerned about yourself and
You
with me,
know me.
because your friend and colleague was under heavy fire. I didn't listen to all of it, but he was doing his best to try and defend himself, which of course you one just cannot just sit down and be attacked and not do anything. He had to do something.
Mm, mm.
He had to do something, and probably he did the best that he could have. But I
But
don't
one of,
know. You see, again, for me, he's fighting an uphill battle, because he threw me into a bit of confusion, because I'm quite certain that some time ago, a few weeks,
uh,
it could have been a few days, a few weeks ago, he admitted he admitted that he was wrong, or he knew certain things, and then he sat where he sat yesterday, I believe it was, and then he said he didn't know, or he wasn't aware.
yeah, I think what he's saying is that he did in good faith, but wasn't aware also that it was no,
Are
he
you
didn't
are you on
deliberately.
it? Are you on his legal team? Okay, look like you're trying to do very well
Well, I was just about to say that I don't want to come across as if I'm defending him, but actually, what he was actually trying to allude and say that he did not deliberately mislead Parliament, and that is why he kept coming and saying apologize. He went in good faith and ray, and everybody's Harriet Harman is going at him and the whole team because what they're saying, did MPs pierce the XPM's armor? Boris Johnson questioned about events in Downing Street, which was during the COVID lockdown, and his subsequent statements to MPs for around 3 hours on Wednesday. And what they were doing, they were playing some of those videos. But I do wonder sometimes and say, is it worth it? I mean, the report is there. Just accept the boy. I guess the key thing, did he deliberately, knowingly misled Parliament? Because he can say, anyone can say, no, I did not have a party and I know that I was wrong or whatever like that. He can say that. He went to a party. But the question is, did he know that it was really wrong? You know? Because they said in the Martin session, there were several key moments which had straight to the out of committee's remit to find out whether the former prime minister deliberately, this is a bit, deliberately misled the House of Commons. And that is where he came fighting, because that is going to be the key chink. Did he deliberately misled Parliament, knowingly, intention? What do you say? Did he know? I'm just trying to
Well,
pull a fact.
you really want me to answer that?
Yes, yes. Just like I'll ask, that's why I ask. Just like I ask some people sometimes, Suella Braverman or Pretty Patel, which do you prefer? And most people say, wrong. Can I pass? Yes, I would want you to actually answer that
I
question.
think he knew. I think he knew. I don't.
Mm,
Um. You know, the prime minister of this country at any time knows what's happening in and around his
mm,
realm, and he also knows what's happening through the regions of this world, and almost
mm.
everything that the president may know also of the United States, the prime ministers of the UK
Yes.
also know. And you're telling me that he never knew of a party in his office?
Mm,
No, I don't think so. I don't. I think he knew. I think he
mm.
knew, and I don't know if there's anything that would ever or could ever change my mind from that.
Yes. And do you think that the majority of Brits believe he knew that, that he knew as well of
Of course.
this?
I mean, listen, there are people up and down this country right now, for whatever reason. Yeah, they lost their fathers, their mothers, they lost their grandfathers, their grandmothers. They
And
lost them
they had
during
to
a
toe the line.
very, yeah,
Mm,
they lost them during a very difficult time, not only in the history of the UK, in the history of this world up until now.
yes.
And that's millions. There's 60 million, and how
Mm.
many people died? I'm not saying, well, not 50, not 30 million. 30 million didn't
Gary,
die, no,
Gary, even if it's just one, you know. Mm,
but a few thousand, well,
mm,
lost loved ones. They lost loved ones, all because his office and those around who he entrusted told his line, repeated what he said
mm,
and what others also said. And he himself, yeah, he himself told everybody on Wednesdays, was it Wednesday nights or Thursday nights, to stand
mm.
out your door and
Yeah.
clap for
I,
the
I
NHS.
yeah. I
And
do. I do remember those times, and that was a very scary, in a sense, moment when it was the evenings were dark, quiet. Everybody had to be in, walking past each other, and so what we are saying is that they had a different rules which applied for them,
of
and
course,
when they asked what mitigations were in place at number 10, Johnson says efforts were made to avoid physical contact and we didn't pass stuff to each other if we could possibly avoid it. Harriet Harman, of course, the Labour chair of the committee, jumped in to point out that the committee had seen photos that show staff passing drinks to each other. And Mr. Jones replied, "This is guidance, and I'm not going to pretend that it was enforced rigidly. But what explicitly was what the guidance for, you know." So, what do you what the key thing about it is that what is it there for Johnson? I mean, isn't it time for? He's been the king of England already. um, I guess are we saying that if he loses a seat and he's selected to run again, he's selected to run again, and if he loses and do you think that's the end of him, or you just go on the circuit? I think you just go on the circuit and just write books and do speeches. Can't go wrong. Yeah, the books and the searches. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
I mean, I think, as you said to me sometime, was it in the week? You said that these guys have their bread buttered,
Three ways, Gary. Three ways,
and
all different ways. And
and
you're right. And that yeah, go on. Sorry, Gary. Yeah,
sorry, and they only have two sides,
I'm sorry.
and bread only has two sides. But you're saying
Bread only have two sides. and
Mm.
they're buttered different ways. These guys are buttered different ways. The prime minister buttered different ways. Everybody's buttered different ways. I mean, there is buttered different ways. Oh my days, sorry, even you buttered different ways as well. You know. You saw your picture up there a while ago. You didn't see a picture up there a while ago. Everybody buttered up there in different ways, Gary. Um, and I think it is where, and when you look in the House of Commons as well, and you look at the different ministers there, one of the things, and different persons who are part of the political class, most of them are persons like have something already there put down for them, and they are able to withstand financial pressure. And that is why some persons like doctors and certain and lawyers or certain persons are able to practice, because it enables them to keep their license. Especially like doctors, they got to keep their license, because um, being in parliament is not like some who think it's a forever thing. It could be a 5 year thing, could be a 2 year thing, or whatever like that. Least good thing, and they're out on their face. They've got to live. They've got to prosper as well. And so that's the thing. But hey, as we say, and bread cook and then bread butter different ways. So we watch his space. I don't know what was the outcome of it. I don't know if there's going to be more, or actually I should have actually checked to see if there was a ending in a way, and they're going to do a final bit. They said the committee privilege will hear oral evidence from Barnes Johnson from 2 p.m. to Wednesday, 22nd of March, and there's no approximate end time. So I don't know if it is totally. I think it's end, if anything like that, and they'll come out with the end result of that. But the next thing though is interest rate again, Gary. Interest rate has shot up again, 4.25%. 4.25%. And what the governor says is that this time it should be better. Interest rate rise, Bank of England more hopeful on UK economy. Head of the Bank of England has said he's much more hopeful for the UK economy, as interest rates were raised to their highest for 14 years. And the decision to lift rates to 4.25% from 4% came after the inflation rate rose unexpectedly last month. Now, every time they say the inflation rate keep rising, and Gary, every time they pay people more, the inflation rate is going to rise. When
Well,
does it stop?
I mean, that is economics. I think that
Yeah.
is basic economics. I
Mm.
mean, what people have to understand, because I tell you this right now,
Yes.
that I understand that people are hurting. I understand that people need money. Things are going through the roof. The utility bills are increasing, have increased, and they're going to go up. Fuel is increasing. Money, grocery bills has
Mm.
increased and such. Fine. So what is the next thing that's going to happen amongst the workers? They're going to ask for more money. That's a
Mm.
natural thing. That is
Mm.
natural.
Mm.
But if the government is trying to keep a lid on inflation,
Yeah.
and people do not understand, there may be a very few people that understand, and they're not saying anything.
Yeah.
But the majority of our country really are those who are on very low wage.
Mm.
Not everybody in this country is on your kind of salary, my brother,
I
right?
mean, yours.
but but
Yeah.
but not everybody. So those who do not understand, yes, the pain is coming. When the pain is there, they go to the doctors. They say, "Doctor, can I have medicine? Can I have something to relieve the pain?"
Yeah.
The doctor may say to his patient, "Listen, this is only short lived. If I give you something, it's not going to be the solution. It's
Yeah.
not the medicine is not the solution."
Mm.
But the patient is not understanding that the patient wants the pain to go. He don't care what the doctor is saying to him. He just
Mm,
wants the doctor to give him medicine so that the pain will go.
mm,
Yes. Okay. The doctor gives him what he needs, but I guarantee that in the next couple of weeks, probably months, he's coming back to the doctor with another problem. And what is that? And what that might be? That may be
mm.
because he had so much of the medicine. There is a side effect that the doctor was very much trying to say to the patient, if you take it, no, that is why I didn't want you to take it, because what you're complaining now about is exactly what I knew what would happen. And what's going to happen, my friend, is that because people are going to be getting, if getting more money but
Mm.
fewer goods, then the goods will just increase because there is a lot of money out there. And because there's a lot of money out there, those who are selling the product, seeing that they can get more for the money, they're not going to turn it down. And
They don't
because
care.
there are few goods out there, but there's a lot of money out there, the persons who can buy, they're going to just buy it up. They're just going to buy it up because the money's there until it runs out. Everybody has money, but there's nothing out there.
Yeah. So what do you see then as a potential way forward? Because what the Bank of England governor said, he said we are really a bit on a knife edge as to whether there would be a recession, but he says he's a bit more optimistic. Said Governor Andrew Bailey. He warned the UK was not off the races, not off to the races, with the economy expected to grow only slightly in the coming months. Interest rates have been rising steadily in an attempt to tackle rising prices. So hold on a second. If Putin pull back and everything goes back to normal, and are we gonna have a reduction? Is interest rate gonna interest, which is inflation, which is at a pace at which the price rises, remain close to its highest level for 40 years at 10.4% in the year of February, more than 5 times the bank target. Let's say if you can't beat them, you have to join them, Gary. You have to join them. Get into politics, you know, find 5 different jobs and so like that. Be Alan Sugar and these guys. Find some products and increase it, you know. But that always just hit the same people. Everything keeps hitting at the people at the same time. And I still don't have that confidence. I know the economists will speak and blah blah blah, but as people are fighting, the junior doctors are pushing for more money. I think the teachers, there was a strike last week. I don't know if they've made a deal yet. I don't know if RMT has sorted out yet, but they're all looking for more money. And then at the same time, you have persons in their private workplace or whatever like that, local authorities, all looking for more. You know, agency staff, they are looking for more. So what is going to happen? Is there more money is going to be out there? And isn't the Bank of England governor is going to say too much money out there? Let's bring it up to 6%. Let's bring it up to 7%. And then what we have is a catapult whereby it is just galloping, galloping, galloping.
You see, yeah,
That's just
I mean,
my initial
what the
layman
Bank of
legal.
England wants
Yeah.
to do is for
Mm,
people to stop spending and to save. So they put up interest rates.
mm.
The savings will be attractive because the banks are then going to put up interest rates. Not only
But,
for mortgages, it's not mortgages only, it's for everything else.
yeah. But Gary, people don't trust the banks. Banks just all closed down recently. Two banks are shut down. People
Well,
don't.
I mean, whatever happens in the states, like with the Silicon Valley Bank and
Yeah.
Signature Bank, and then you've got Swiss Credit,
Yeah. Swiss credit. Yeah.
which it's funny though
Mm,
because they said that a few years back when there was a bit of trouble, financial trouble in Europe.
Yes.
They were saying that UBS, who is far bigger than Swiss Credit or Credit Suisse, whichever one it is, I
Mm,
don't. They had to be bailed out by the government.
mm,
They were helped by the government.
yes.
Now it is the UBS bank that has bought out Swiss Credit.
Yes.
But the
Yes.
funny thing about it is that, you see, what the problem is with that one is that they run out of liquid cash
Mm,
because on their books they've got a portfolio of 6 trillion.
mm,
Sylbourne, Swiss
mm, mm.
Credit has a portfolio of 6 trillion US dollars.
Yes.
That's not money though. That's all in asset.
Well, a guy was saying recently that he tried to get 250,000 cash out of his account because he has millions, and the bank
Who
said
was
they
that?
never, some guy,
Oh,
I think it's online or whatever, but they couldn't find the money for him, so he had to come back and he had to make the order, and they had to get security guard because they never had that money. So really and truly, what he said is that the liquid cash and so like that is not around.
no, it's not.
Everything,
It's
you know,
not. It's
and
not. And
mm,
that is the problem with these banks. These banks have a lot. If you look at their balance sheets, they've got money, but
yeah,
all of that money is tied up in asset. They
yes,
don't have the money. I mean, most of the banks that we are banking with, Barclays, NatWest, TSB,
mm,
Lloyd,
mm,
HSBC, and all of that, they may have a lot of money on paper, but
yes,
all of that money is not money, liquid funds. It's all in assets, and
yes,
that is why there are experts out there still who are
mm,
saying that the banks, all of the major banks are bankrupt.
mm,
All of the major banks are bankrupt already. They don't have the money.
yeah. But what someone said is that after Swiss Bank and those guys and the in different banks, you're gonna have more, and we're using the Northern Rock as a sort of classical example. But well, Gary, it's a great day. Tomorrow is my
Another
birth.
day.
Yeah, and tomorrow is my birthday as well. So
Oh, happy birthday, man.
I
How
was
old
born
are
in
you?
I never I never jump off of this. I never jump off. Even if I jump out,
25.
even if I jump out of the sky, there was a day that I still jump out of the sky, and I'll be 54. I think 54. I think if I'm not
You're
mistaken.
still young, man. You're still young. Still young.
you know, and also tomorrow will be 8 years since I started the Sylbourne show, and just for people
Wow.
to know that um, since the lockdown, I've not really been doing much studio stuff, but I'm just gearing up to get back into the studio, and I'll be doing some more one-to-one interviews on the set as well on the red chair, and just having authentic discussions, not hype, but seeking solutions to the issues of the world. And I know that we have to talk. And sometimes I say, "Oh, I can't tired of this talking," but through the talking, we have resolution, we have sharing of ideas, and like I'm having Pauline Campbell, who was a guest, one of the first persons that I've interviewed since I start back. She's really into injustice as well around, and that's going to be a great interview as well with Pauline Campbell, definitely, which I'll release maybe Sunday or so, you know. So yeah, and then God and government, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to come soon. God and government, that is whereby we sit and we discuss where is God in all of this. We have done a couple of pilots so far. We're taking it out with Gary and myself and taking it to another level because, Gary, a lot of people are searching. A lot of people are trying to understand what's going on. Today I was in the park walking. I met a guy and just talking to my young chap, and while the conversation there, we end up talking about God, and chances are he's going to come to my church on Sunday, and then maybe come to the Body and Soul Fitness on Tuesday as well. Because everybody's looking for something. And I just read a while ago that TikTok is supposed to be might get banned from the USA, or and right now TikTok is being banned from ministers of government, or those guys' phone, and therefore a lot of people are now worried about, wow, is this going to happen, and it's going to affect their income, their stream, or whatever like that, because these platforms. And then the question is that people are going to feel deflated. People are going to feel, wow, what am I going to do? So a lot of hope we're seeing is in things which are not lasting. What do you say about that? In what's the comparisons of things which are not lasting? Yes. So that's it. Theo, Whiteley, all the best. Garry, listen,
Yes,
you
my
okay?
brother.
Yeah, we'll
Yeah,
talk.
I'm okay. We'll talk. We'll talk.
We'll talk. So, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you so much for joining tonight and on the show with Garry and myself. And Saturday night, we'll have Talk and Sip. And I think we're going to focus and look at the parliamentary languages or unparliamentary languages in the Caribbean. Not just the Caribbean, but even in the UK. As Dennis Skinner says, I will still call him Dodgy Dave, no matter what. Okay, you need to leave the House of Commons, or in Jamaica, they say, shut up, stop talking, and so like that. Another person called Massa Mark. What are these about? Is it bullying? Is it discrimination? Is it words? And the Speaker of the House, again, should the Speaker be not a part of the political parties and an independent person, or finding someone who's totally independent, if anything like that? Those are some of the things that we talk about. All right, peace out, Garry, and ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.
Peace
Thank
out.
you.
And see you around, and for those on Instagram and those on TikTok as well. Boom. And let me see if I can say bye.